Hello, welcome to Theosophy in Wales. I'm Dave Marsland. Care of the planet is part of human evolution. Well, firstly, Theosophy postulates that our evolution, human evolution, and the evolution of the Earth are inseparable. Also, Theosophy postulates that evolution is directed by a guiding intelligence. It isn't blind or random, and that guiding intelligence comes from the higher consciousness behind the universe through what we term cosmic ideation, or the big idea for the universe, or the plan for the universe. Within that, human evolution takes place within the framework of what are known as root races. Now, root races are mass reincarnations of humanity, and there are 7 within each cosmic era known as a globe, and there are plenty of globes within the planetary cycle, but I'll just concern ourselves with the current root race, which is the 5th of 7 within the current cosmic era, current globe. Now, with the 5th mass reincarnation of humanity in the current cosmic era, and in each root race we evolve by developing a principle. In this case, our principle we develop is mind. Now, with regard to humanity and our relationship with care of the planet, the story, I think, begins with a bit of evolutionary housekeeping, and that, I believe, is the demise of Neanderthal man about 25 to 30,000 years ago. Neanderthal man was the last of the other human species, and his demise left us with just one human species on the planet. And I think that is significant because, and it can be hard to believe sometimes, but we are the best vehicle to take humanity forward, and all the others were somehow, I wouldn't say not up to the job, you could say not fit for purpose. It got down to one species of humanity, and that then gave us a clear run to take humanity forward. And after the Neanderthal man went, and Homo erectus went about 70,000 years ago, Neanderthal man went about 25, 30,000 years ago. That meant we were the only species on the planet. Now, I think we more or less already populated most of the planet by then, but the main big change that came about 15,000 years ago was the agrarian revolution. And this was the first time that we actually changed the environment, and we changed ourselves. Prior to that, we lived in tribal societies as hunter-gatherers, and that had been sustainable for a very long period of time. But clearing the land, once you've cleared land for agriculture, you have changed the environment. We also changed ourselves in that agriculture supports more people. At the same time as having more people, you reduce the amount of land for hunting, so you can't go back. You've supported a larger population, but you've taken away the land for hunting. Also, some animals went with that. The aurochs and the Irish elk were wiped out with that change. So that's really the first stage on the treadmill, that we moved to agrarian man, and there's no going back. So we'd moved forward, and we had changed the environment. Slightly later in the agrarian revolution, we developed mining and technology about the Bronze Age and the Iron Age, and that was the beginning of our technological society. Also, we developed a division of labour in which there'd be a proportion of the population would have no connection with the land or food production, and very often the division of labour meant that the people taking the decisions were not connected to the land. That possibly is something that the decision makers and their awareness of the environment possibly still has continued since. Now, okay, since then we've been on this technological and social treadmill because once we'd had an agrarian civilization, well, civilization's not tribal, it became vulnerable. It was vulnerable to famine, to as a result possibly of climate change sometimes, even though we didn't actually cause it. Also social breakdown. We kept war. That's one thing that we brought with us from the tribal society. We brought war with us, and a lot of our technology and technological advances were related to war. So that's something that we brought along with, some baggage we brought with us from the past. And we mainly lived in feudal agrarian societies, and that continued, and we needed a level of innovation, new ideas coming, new ways of doing things, to keep that going. But it kept going, but many civilizations came and went. In fact, there's some civilizations they're just a pile of rocks, and they don't really know anything about the civilization. So there's many have come and gone. Now, then we had the Industrial Revolution, and my view is that the Industrial Revolution began in Britain, and it really began in the 1500s when we started to use blast furnaces to make cannon. Blast furnaces have been around for a very long time. We didn't invent them, but that I think the use of blast furnaces to make better cannon was the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. Now that went on, and it's brought us to where we are now in the sort of global technological society. But Hendrik van Loon, the historian, he said just after the First World War that the Industrial Revolution pushed our technology 300 years ahead of our ability to cope with it. And that's why the First World War happened as it did. It's examples of the British and German cavalry meeting inconveniently in a Belgian village in the Battle of Mons in 1914 and drawing their swords. They didn't know what war they were coming to, they didn't know what they were getting into. Other stories that, they turning up basically for the wrong war. So if we take that analogy that the First World War happened because we couldn't cope with we didn't know what the technology could do, we didn't know the significance of the technology, machine guns that do 600 rounds a minute, then we could transfer this to our environment and our global economy, in that we didn't really know what we were doing to the environment. All this technological innovation, pumping smoke into the atmosphere from the factories, the internal combustion engine. And I don't think we knew exactly what we were doing. And we're paying for this now. We're going to have to deal with it. But I think that is part of our learning process, that we're on this treadmill of new ideas, problems, new ideas to solve the problems, and then you create some more problems. I think it is part of the evolution of mind. And we are moving forward. We know a lot more now, as they say, human knowledge doubles every 15 years. What we do with the knowledge is another matter. But we're pushing things forward, and I think that whatever we have done, whatever course history had taken since the Agrarian Revolution, I think we would be at this point now where we're looking at the ability of the planet to support its ecosystem. I think that just would have come about anyway, would have got there anyway, because we just entered into this treadmill of technology, ideas, problems and solutions. And I think that will continue. We've come a long way since the Agrarian Revolution, and I do think that it's part of our evolution, our learning process, that we have quite a long way to go.